Because there's something in the water. This is MuggleCast episode 251 for April 5th, 2012. Welcome to MuggleCast episode 251, and we have a special guest here this week, Keith Hawk. You may know him from MuggleNet, recently traveling abroad to cover the opening of the studio tour, the Harry Potter studio tour, and it's Keith's first time on MuggleCast, save for the live show at LeakyCon. So welcome, Keith, who sounds like Mikey.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
I was struck by your voice when you came on the call. I was like, Mikey? I called the wrong person.
It's immediate success.
That's a compliment of the highest order.
Yes, just don't talk about Star Wars like he does too much. So actually, we are going to kick off the show like we always do with the news. But the focus of this episode is going to be the studio tour, and we are also going to talk about where we are going to be this summer, and also Pottermore. Now that it's about to open, by the time you're listening to this episode, it may actually already be open.
Ooh.
And we got some tweets, and chicken soup, and a whole lot more. I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
And I'm Keith Hawk.
All right, Micah, so what is in the news this week, please? I guess we'll start with the studio tour, but tell us about it. Was it a big opening?
Yeah, I mean, the studio tour officially opened. I believe the official name is the Warner Brothers Studio Tour, The Making of
London.
Harry Potter.
Warner Brothers Studio Tour London, The Making of Harry Potter.
This is like that event down in Orlando a couple months ago.
Oh, yes.
It's just
Harry Potter Home Entertainment Celebration.
Let's make it as corporate as we possibly can. Take all the fun out of the name. But it opened this past Saturday, a big red carpet event out at Leavesden Studios. A lot of the cast and crew were in attendance, and it's now officially open to the public. And as you mentioned, Keith got the opportunity to go and tour the tour a little bit early. So let's start off, I guess, Keith, kind of give us your initial impressions of you getting out there, seeing the studio for the first time, and then walking in and walk us through a little bit of the tour.
Sure. First of all, it's just something that every Harry Potter fan has got to go to. It's just insane. I mean, you can read the books 20 million times, you can watch all the films, you can read the set reports, but until you actually step foot in that great hall for the first time, you just don't appreciate the details that they went through to make this thing. It's just, I can't say enough about how amazing it was. Now, I guess they built these studios exclusively for this tour. So, Andrew, when you used to go to all these sets, and you've seen the sets before with all the actors and everything, yeah. I mean, it was in a different area. The studios that they filmed in were in the hangars.
Right. It was basically the same land. You know, when you drive up to Leavesden Studios, you're still going to Leavesden Studios. They didn't move it across the street per se. It's still on the same property. They just built new places for all these sets to be permanently housed. And of course, it's nicer than the hangars that all the sets used to be in, because back when they were filming, you would approach this place and you would never guess that the top grossing franchise of all time was shot in this hangar, which I guess is good. I was going to say to keep it secret, but there was giant Leavesden Studios lettering across it. But yeah, so I mean, based on I haven't been there yet for the studio tour, but based on the concept art, it looks like they built a whole new exterior, which is, I'm glad they did that, because I don't know, it was a pretty trashy area.
This is where the catering wagon was.
Right, yes, exactly.
It's this crooked lot.
This is probably where they played cricket all the time.
So as a Harry Potter fan, when you're approaching this area, because, I remember approaching the sets, it was very exciting. I mean, you must have been getting more and more excited as you drove closer. I assume you were on a bus or something.
Yeah.
You could probably see it from a distance.
Right. I mean, and that's one thing I want to say to everybody is how to get there first is, obviously it's about a 20-minute train ride from London out to Watford Junction. And then you go
King's
out.
Cross?
No, actually London, Euston. So you take this train ride out to Watford Junction and then you go out to the bus area and here comes this big WB Studios tour bus. It's a regular double-decker, but it's black. It has Diagon Alley on it, and it has, all the wording on it. So the bus is just incredibly beautiful to look at. And, you're so excited, all you do is start snapping pictures all over the place. So I have like 10 pictures of the bus. So I guess, they're going to have 3 buses rotating for the public to go back and forth. And it's a 2-pound bus ride to go to the studios. It's only about a 10-minute drive. It's not far at all. So, I mean, you're on this bus with other Harry Potter fans and you're all excited. And then you see the studios and, your breath is just taken away. You see these massive yellow buildings. They call them Studio J and Studio K, is where the studio tour is in now.
Was that for JK?
You got it. Yep.
Seriously? They did it for her?
Yes,
oh, wow.
They did it for her. That's exactly right. I'm glad you picked up on that. I would have been disappointed if you didn't. It's a massive parking lot, and the buses pull right up, and then you see, welcome to the Warner Brothers Studio Tour. And it's beautiful. I mean, the landscaping's done nice. The entire area is just absolutely beautifully done. And once you're done snapping pictures outside, you walk inside into this massive entrance, and all you notice right away is all the portraits above the entrance. I counted them. I think there was 21 or 22. I forget now. But all the portraits, and it's the young Harry, young Dan Radcliffe, young Emma Watson, young Rupert Grint, and then the older they got, there's Neville, Luna, Dumbledore. I mean, all the characters that you love are on this wall in massive detail, and it's just beautiful to walk into. So,
when you say portrait, did these photos have like or did these portraits have a use in the film, or were they designed for like the lobby area, like after the fact? Like, do you think that these
they were
used?
They were from Empire Magazine, I think. I saw pictures. Somebody took pictures of the insides, and I remember those portraits. I think they're from Empire.
Okay. Well, they were high def shots for sure.
The Part 2 film release.
Yeah, but they were high definition shots, and they were massive posters, and yet so crystal clear. So it's amazing that, you're seeing Dan Radcliffe from 10 years ago, and he's in real crystal clear imagery up on that wall. So, I mean, that was pretty cool just to see how they grew, as they got older and stuff. It's kind of just a recapture for you, of what the past 10 years have been like for the visitor. After that,
so
go ahead.
Oh, well, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, just in this entrance hall, they have, a coat check and bag check in case you need that for the winter time or, whatever you're carrying. So they do have that accommodation. They have an eating area right off the wing, before you go in. And they also have, to the right is the gift shop. And I guess you can go in there. I didn't go in there to look right away. I saved that for the end. But outside of the gift shop, they have 2 window displays. One of, a little bit of Honeydukes and the treat cart, the candy cart from the Hogwarts Express is in there. And then on the left side is some of the robes and stuff. So,
at which point do you get the butterbeer? Is that in the tour, or is that outside?
During the tour. It's the midway point.
During the tour?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
And you have to pay for it, or is it free?
I wish it was free. No, you pay for it. They're going to get you everywhere.
Oh, so like...
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask, you said that you did the gift shop at the end, but do the bags for it that you get, do they say Warner Brothers Studio Tour London, the making of Harry Potter, or do they say something a little bit more fancy?
No, they're just nice plastic bags that say WB Studio Tour. I have several of them.
So even I was going to say, because even the bags aren't abiding by the name then, which seems to be really long, and we all have...
Well, because eventually they want to expand the studio tour to other films. They don't want it to just be Harry Potter forever.
So Warner Brothers Studio 2,
You think that's going to happen?
Burbank, California, the making of...
They have said that. Yeah.
They already have a studio tour in their home lot in Burbank.
Yeah.
But that's actually more like the history of WB. You know, the water tower's there, and it's all really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just guess it's just such a long diplomatic title, so I wondered what was on the gift shop bags.
Yeah, I mean,
what would you say was your favorite? Okay, well, first of all, how long was the tour itself? And you were with a guide, right?
Yeah, no, you're only with the guide in the very beginning. When you first enter, you go into this small room, and they have 8 poster-sized screens on display. And while everybody's gathering in there, they're showing you posters from the films from every different country. So you're seeing, the France poster, the German poster, the Iranian poster, things like that just flashing around. And then they do a short film on how David Heyman acquired the rights to it. So it's a nice introduction to how the beginning of this thing came from Dave's assistant who read the book, and I can't remember her name, sorry. And she brought it in, and Dave goes, did anybody read anything good? And she's like, yeah, this is something you definitely want to read. And this was a girl who was never excited about anything, and all of a sudden she's excited in this meeting. So David took the book home, and there we go. We got, the next 12 years covered.
I hope she got her cut.
I hope she did too. I mean, I never heard of her
like,
name, so, I hope she got recognized.
That was part of the agreement, I guess.
Yeah. So once you're done with that little film and you're standing in this room, they take you from that room into a cinema area where you sit down for another film. And so this cinema is half moon shaped, basically. The seats, it's almost like you're in a regular theater. Real nice, comfortable seats. And they show you another 10, 15-minute film, but it's the trio talking about the 10 years and some of their moments and what you're going to see on the tour. So that was really nice. Now, this is where it got exciting, though. All right, you're anxious to go in and see these things, right? And here the film ends, and you think they're going to escort you off to the right. Well, no. The freaking screen goes up, and there's the Great Hall doors right in front of you. You're like, whoa.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wow. It's like, and the statues that came to life in Deathly Hallows, they're right there. I mean, so from the cinema, the screen goes up, and bam, you're right into it. So they guide you through the Great Hall doors, and they do a very basic tour of the Great Hall. And I mean very basic. They'll point out a couple things to you. From that moment on, through the rest of the tour, you're on your own.
And you can spend as long as you want there.
As long as you want, but they want you out of the Great Hall before the next tour starts.
I see.
Now, you can come back in after they're in. So if you didn't get pictures of something that you really want to get pictures of in the Great Hall, you just have to step out for a little bit, and then you can come back in. They generally don't want you going backwards, obviously, through this thing. But
Right.
the way it flows, it actually works out really well.
Now, is there a theme? And one of the questions I want to ask, you got to see the exhibit, right? When it was in New York, you saw it. And so there's the 8 posters, and it plays a little movie, and then you go through sort of, and there's different themes, different areas. Was it at all like that, or how was this laid out, in comparison or in contrast?
The exhibit to me was a little bit of a mishmash of everything.
Okay.
It was more prop.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah, it was more prop oriented. So you saw the costumes and stuff like that. But here you're seeing the sets and the actual pieces that they use. Now, I'm not saying they didn't use them in the exhibit. I think they actually do use them, but they're like the second sets and third sets of things.
Yeah.
So this set that you're seeing in here of all the costumes and all the props are the real ones that were in the movies.
And there's also that special feeling of, well, this is where they were actually shot. These are the real sets. I mean, they can't replicate the Great Hall in the Harry Potter exhibition. These are the types of things that will only ever be seen at the studio tour in Leavesden.
Yeah, I mean, they're too big to move, at the very least.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much history, especially with the Great Hall set. I mean, that one and a couple of others have been there forever. And just think about how many hours were spent there by the cast.
Oh my God, I can't. That just blows my mind. But how do they, if there's no tour guide, how do they really convey that? How do they tell you stories? Are there plaques on each set that tell you a little bit of history? Or, how do you get that information? Because I imagine with 10 years of filming on those sets, there's tons of stories to talk about each set. So is there any kind of guide or a way to
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, there is placards with every set that tells you a basic story of it. It's nothing major. It's nothing that you don't already know. It's an introduction to, like, they'll have a producer screen and they'll show you all the producers. They'll have a placard of all the directors, the screenwriters, and things like that. And each set has its own piece. You know, this is the Burrow. This is the Gryffindor Common Room, etc. So they do have a plaque there. But you know what? The key to this tour are the staff members that actually work there. They have just as much knowledge as us in the Harry Potter films. In fact, 4 of the staff members that I met actually were extras in the films.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
So, in fact, the one girl I met, she, I want to say her name right. It was, Katie Rosedale. She was doing the Dumbledore's office set for us. And I got to talking to her for a while. And, she was in 4 of the films from Order of the Phoenix on as a Slytherin. Actually, from Goblet of Fire. I'm sorry, from Goblet of Fire on. She was a Slytherin student. So, like, when the Beauxbatons and the Durmstrang guys came in to do other things, she's sitting right behind Ron and Harry. So she said she saw herself on the big screen. It was kind of cool. But they've been so entwined into this, and they've been filming in the Great Hall, so that they have that extra knowledge of how this stuff is put together.
But what was she doing there if she wasn't a guide?
There's staff members stationed at each area that are fully in tune with every little detail about that particular set.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like in a museum.
So if you have a question,
right?
Yes, if you have a question on something, go to them. And I really encourage any visitor to talk to these staff members. They'll give you information that you just didn't know.
And there's also the digital guide narrated by Tom Felton. That's an extra $5.
It is. I didn't listen to it. I didn't get that. So I don't know what that's like.
I hear Tom Felton just plugs his Twitter account on it. It's really funny. Okay, so what would you say is your, like, top 3 to 5 sets? The ones that, I guess, most wowed you.
I was going to say, how many sets were there overall? Do we know?
3 to 5.
You name it, it was there.
85?
No, it was...
No, 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
He said 3 to 5, yeah. Boy, narrowing it down to 2, I mean, let's just take Great Hall out of it, because I think that's going to be everybody's favorite, okay? I think that's just the natural favorite. The Potions classroom was amazing.
Is it which Potions classroom is it? Is it
It's actually a double jointed one. It's like the entire Potions classroom, and on one end you have Snape, and on the other end you have Slughorn. But they have the entire room is filled with potion jars, and these potion jars, there's hundreds of them. Okay. I mean, literally hundreds of them. Each one of them has something different inside and hand labeled with a different name. So there's no duplicates. And in fact, the person that was standing in front of the potions classroom was telling us, it was, my friend Jose and I, and they were telling us that they would go out to, like a toy store, for instance, and just get some junk toys, right? Or, whatever they could find. And so they got like a toy frog. Well, they would take the frog legs off, and then they would do stuff with it and put it in a jar and label it. So, I mean,
sounds sadistic almost.
Yeah. Anything you can think of is in those jars. I mean, if you need something, it's probably in there.
So what other set? Another 1 or 2?
Okay, so the Great Hall, the Potions classroom, and then, of course, the Hogwarts model is just...
Oh, yeah.
Words do not describe what that is like until you see it.
I gotta ask, how close can you get to it?
You're not going to touch it at all. You're probably going to be 10 feet away from any piece of it.
It seems so big, though, that, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It's like a large enough scale, but I still worry that I'm going to want to really pour over. Like,
well, what are you, 4 years old? This is a museum. You can't touch. Stay away, says Stuart Craig.
But I read somewhere else that it was very hands-on.
Well, the whole tour is hands-on as far as, you can push a couple little buttons and see some animatronics running. I mean, that was another cool thing in the creature effects department. You push a little button and you see the Horcrux Voldemort under in the King's Cross area. You see him breathing.
Oh, that's really cool.
No, that's the last thing I wanted to see on that tour. It
that
still
is
haunts
so
my
cool.
nightmares. Every time I close my eyes, I see that thing. I really don't need to pay to go to London and see it.
Is it bloody?
No, it's not bloody. It's just white.
It's just naked.
But it's really cool to push the thing. Yeah.
Were there any other interactive elements of the tour?
There's a lot of them. In the Burrow, for instance, they have these wands set up so you can move the wand and point it at something, like say the iron and it'll iron, or the knitting needles and it'll do the knitting needles, or whatever. There's a couple of those features in there. The creature effects had a lot of interactive devices in them. But there's also a movie that plays through the creature effects, and it's Warwick Davis and Nick Dudman do a film for you, and it's probably about like a 4-section film. So you walk into the creature effects area, and he starts off with what's in front of you and how it was originated and created and stuff like that. And then they do a little skit, and then he says, "Follow me over here." So you follow him over there, and there's another piece of it. And it was very funny. I mean, Warwick Davis is hilarious, and
Yeah.
it was just a trip. But going back to the castle for a minute, when you walk into that room, you're walking on an elevated portion. So you see the top of the castle, and obviously there's a big area there for people to take pictures on. And then gradually, and I mean very slowly, you walk around and down a ramp all the way around it and go back under where you started.
Ah, cool.
So, but take a camera with you that has a good zoom lens on it, and you can create your own shots that you saw in the movie. I did it with where the end of the bridge is, and Neville's standing there, going at Scabier, yeah, you and what army, So I took my camera, I put it right in that position, and I could just picture Neville standing right there. So
that's cool. So there's grass and
really,
stuff on it?
really cool.
And
oh yeah, trees, grass. You would think it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, each shingle was laid individually.
Wow. By Sky Crane, by Mission Impossible hanging from the ceiling kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, maybe you mentioned this before, but you said that there's a Studio J and a Studio K.
Yeah.
And what's in between?
Okay. Studio J is the main sets, okay? It has every set that is in the films with the exception of Diagon Alley, okay? So you have...
That's in Orlando in a couple of years.
Yeah, it is. It's actually, you get transported there. It's a port key, and you take it right there. But you have, the Great Hall, the Burrow, the Potions Room, Dumbledore's office, the Ministry of Magic, Umbridge's office, just a whole bunch. The Quidditch flying area where you actually get on a broom and fly.
Is there any?
And that's cool.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
How do they do that?
You're sitting on a broom.
How's it elevated?
You put on a robe. They only have one Ravenclaw and the rest are Gryffindors, so sorry for anybody else. But you get on a broom. It's green screened, and then they tell you, go ahead and lean and do whatever you want to, and you can see yourself on the camera flying through different scenes in the movie. So like when they did the escape from Privet Drive to go to Grimmauld Place and they fly across the water there, across the Thames, you're actually doing that, and you see yourself flying.
Cool.
And then they tell you, okay, look at this camera real quick, and then they look up and look at the camera above, and they take a couple pictures, and then when you're done, you get escorted around, and they show you your pictures, and of course you want to buy every single one of them. So, you go through there. And that wasn't too bad. It was £12 for one picture, £15 for two, 18 for three, 20 for four, so just to let people know what you're spending in.
How much, how often can you actually touch anything other than the interactive elements? Like, how often, I know like in the Great Hall, it seems like they have it roped off towards the end where the, professor's table is, if you will, but how often are you able to really like get within a set?
You're not.
No?
No, No, you're not able to really touch any. I mean, you could reach over and touch some of the costumes. In Studio J, they have a bunch of the costumes. They have a Fleur de la Cour outfit, which is really cool, with all the measurements and everything on how they made it. They have a lot of Ivana Lynch's costumes in there, the Christmas tree dress that she has, her sundress from the wedding at Deathly Hallows, a whole bunch of those things. And you could probably reach over and touch them, but they'll probably smack your hand off or.
That's what those people are there for, Eric. You were wondering their purpose? That's what. And they're worth every penny.
Well, so you can't go up to the teacher's table or even the podium that Dumbledore has and say,
no, it's all roped off in the front of the stairs.
That was kind of something that.
Now, I would do that.
I feel like that's misrepresented.
Andrew's seen me do that.
That was something that kind of bothered me about the theme park, the queue for the Great Hall. You can go in and you can see Dumbledore's office and it's cool, but I feel like the ropes really take you out of the scene. They go on and on about how immersive everything is, but then they have these ropes up everywhere, so you can't walk up. And I get why they have those, but it's just.
Well, I mean, with the theme park too, you can't get too close because then you realize that Dumbledore's a hologram and he's not really there. But
true.
But
he's like Santa.
At least he's
if you want to take a picture of the Mirror of Erised at the Wizarding World, for example.
That's true.
There's a gate right in front of it, and you can take a good picture.
Lines, in fact, in that. The thing with the ride is that it's just a queue, for a ride. So areas like the entire inside of Hogwarts, if there's anything you wanted to see, you pretty much have to just walk right by it while you're in line. When that line is full. So that's why that is not a sufficient Hogwarts experience, like the studio tours, maybe.
Yeah, just going back though, Keith, what's in between the two studios?
Well, you go from Studio J and then you go outside and you grab your butterbeer. That's where they serve that. And outside are some of the outside sets. The Night Bus is out there. The Fort Anglia is out there. Privet Drive. The gravestone for Tom Riddle, from Goblet of Fire is out there.
Oh, cool.
The Potter's Cottage is out there. And also the bridge. The bridge is out there that Neville runs across.
Oh, no way.
So you can't walk on it, but you can take a picture of it and you can see down how it curves and all that stuff. So that was pretty neat.
Wait, wasn't that blown up?
It was. They magically reconstructed it. It was a reparo.
Oh.
I think they reconstructed a lot of things for this.
Reparo maximum.
If you want more butterbeer, can you go back and buy it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, and how much is it?
I want to say it was $2.50, but I don't take my word on it because I don't really remember.
And it's the same mugs as in the Wizarding World Park, right?
No, it's a little plastic cup. You're getting.
Oh no,
a little plastic cup.
Yeah.
Does it say Studio Tour on it? I guess.
No. Seriously, it's a clear plastic cup that you get at Kmart.
Right.
Well, I wonder if they'll change that.
That's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Though I know in the Wizarding World you can get it in plastic cups and it's just
I didn't ask. I didn't ask. So maybe you can. I really don't know.
It obviously they kept the foam, right?
Yeah, they kept the foam. They said they brought the same recipe on. Now, Jose said that it wasn't the same. Now, I know I'm a bad Harry Potter fan. I've never been to the Wizarding World. Sorry. Forgive me. But
wait a minute. You were totally down at the hotel outside the Wizarding World.
I was down there for that one day. Remember, I flew back to Atlanta.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I was only down there for the one day. But anyway.
So no butterbeer.
Yeah, so Jose said it was the same recipe, but not the same taste. So I don't know.
It's the water. I'm telling you, it's the water.
I was just gonna say it's the British water.
Because they had it at Wizarding World Los Angeles, the grand opening too, and they had the butterbeer, and I was really excited to have it, and then I tasted it. I'm like, this is different. This is made with smoggy LA water.
Well, was it more carbonated? Do you think?
No, it wasn't. I can't even tell you. It was just a taste thing. It was
because this one seemed really carbonated. It seemed like it was pure cream soda. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, well, it does, at the Wizarding World, it does taste like cream soda. It's great that the studio tour has this, because a lot of these people in England, I imagine, probably have no plans to go to a Harry Potter theme park. So to get it there in England, where the films and books were created, I think that's special.
I think what's funny about it, or what must be funny about the studio tour, is that all the employees are speaking in British accents, but the people who go to see the studio tour, who live around there, will be least surprised or appreciative of that fact.
You know, I don't know if I believe that. I think there's going to be a lot of the visitors coming in from the UK overall. I mean, I think they're going to be a handy amount of people in there from the UK. It's their biggest attraction they're going to have.
Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
I wanted to ask, what is this worth it for somebody coming over from the US or elsewhere?
It's an expensive trip. I mean, the secret, to me, in my opinion, the secret to going over to the UK for a Harry Potter experience is not only the studio tour, but then do like Jose and I did, and we spent a day in London finding things in the books. We found Charing Cross Road. We ate in a shabby cafe off of Tottenham Court Road, like they did in Deathly Hallows. We looked for the Leaky Cauldron entrance. We went to Paddington Station and had a hamburger like Hagrid and Harry did in Sorcerer's Stone. So, I mean, we made our own little adventure, and then it becomes worth it when you can have some fun like that. So if you're going to go, I really encourage you to take a friend with you that has a little bit of a love for Harry Potter and just go nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I can see this being the perfect addition to anybody's tour of England if they're going over there for other things as well. It doesn't seem like it's worth it, and I don't think anybody was expecting this anyway, but I don't think it's worth it just for the studio tour.
No, you have to do
other things like in London specifically. Yeah.
Well, there's that Harry Potter London taxi tour that you could take. I didn't take it, but I heard that's pretty good, and it's a little expensive, but
that used to be really good when they were actually filming, because they would take you to the sets, I think, or try to get you into the sets.
I never heard about this. What's this?
Oh yeah, we were posting set pictures from these all the time, because they would go and do these tours, and while they're taking these people on tours, they would take pictures and then post them on their website, and then we'd repost them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the London Bus Company or something like that.
It's called London Taxi Tour.
Oh, that's it. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Taxi Tour. What else was I going to say? I pretty much lost it. So
okay.
Well, I guess we could probably start wrapping up the studio tour.
Well, that was Studio J and outside. Now you have to get into Studio K.
Okay.
Well, so what's going on?
Well, Studio K has Diagon Alley in it, so that's the only set that's in there that you didn't see before. But then there's also all the creature effects and how they made the films, the miniatures, the architectural plans that are all laid out on the walls. So you see all the details from creative art to the architect to the to the miniature model to the finished production. So you see all the stages that they did, and just to put a little emphasis on it, these guys are masters of art. And that's why this film has been so successful. I mean, these guys love everything that they do, and they go way above and beyond of what you'll see in a movie. So, I mean, the details were just extraordinary. So then you get done with that, you go through the Hogwarts model area, and then you finish up your tour in this wand room. And in this wand room, it's almost like walking into an Ollivanders, a modern Ollivanders. And there's over 4,000 wand boxes, with each name of every person that's ever worked on the film. So we're talking from drivers to caterers to J.K. Rowling. I mean, everybody in between.
I'm in there too. I swept the floor once, so I got my.
Yeah, I think I saw your box.
Yeah.
Whoa.
God. So anyway, the guy who's in there is telling you about some of the stories of these people that helped, produce. And, the funny thing for me was I was telling him a few stories too. And he was like, okay, I'm going to add that to my repertoire here. So it was kind of fun. And then you go out through the gift shop. And if you think your tour is done, it's not. Look around, because the walls of the gift shop are from Gringotts set.
Oh.
Wait, say that again? The walls?
The walls in the gift shop were from the set of the Gringotts. So when you walk into the gift shop, you're looking at parts of Gringotts. Yes, you can tell it's from Gringotts.
Like how? Was it stone?
Just the way
Marble?
it's just the way it's designed up and everything. It's actually pieces of the wall from Gringotts are behind the cash registers and stuff. I mean, it's just... So, I mean, everywhere you go, there's something to see and touch. So keep your eyes open and just look for these little nuances, and you'll really have a major experience.
Do you think if they were to build a third tower the R Tower. What would they have in it? Do you think? Would they have the actors? What would you like to see out of, like, if they built a third tower to that tour?
What sets would you like to see added?
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Was there anything left out that you think, like, because this is supposed to be the definitive, to hell with the exhibition, to hell with any tours, to hell with anything else. This is Leavesden. This is HP Harry Potter. Warner Brothers is, gonna do it right. What would you want to see that there was more of? Would you want more films and interviews?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would love to see the Burrow.
Were there any props? What?
I would love to see the Burrow in full scale. I would love to see maybe the wedding tent. Maybe a facade of the Quidditch World Cup stadium.
Ooh. Yeah, because I wonder how much of that was, like, obviously not the the wide shots of it were probably all CGI, but, like, even the little bits of set that there were, like what about the tent? Was that ever a set that you saw?
I didn't see the tent at all.
Okay, so the tent. Well,
I didn't notice that.
I mean, I don't mean the wedding tent. I mean, the one that.
No, I know what you mean. The one that you're staying when they're camping on the road trip. No, I didn't see the tent at all. It could have escaped me. There's so much to see. Your mind kind of gets overblown with everything, and you're trying to.
So is it not one narrow walkway between sets, or can you branch off? Is it ever, like, labyrinthine or confusing at all in a really cool way?
No, it's very, very precise, very thorough, and straightforward. You just keep on going around in the pattern that they have set up, and you can backtrace a little bit, but overall you're going in a perfect diagram as to how they want you to flow. I mean,
Can you ever see scaffolding? Like, can you ever see, like,
yes,
the sets with?
Yeah,
okay.
And the plaster. That was another. A neat little thing that they had told me. The Great Hall, the outside is built with the scaffolding, and you see all the plaster that was used to hold everything together on the outside. And apparently, they used more plaster on that set of the Great Hall than in any film in history. So I guess that's one thing that Harry Potter has, is the most plaster. Right. But I mean, again, it's little things like that if you don't talk to a person, you won't know. Now they have some fun things for little kids too. Like, you get a passport booklet.
They needed it to hold together.
It is called the Harry Potter passport, and it looks like a passport. And they have, I think, 12 or 13 golden snitches hanging around in different areas of the thing. And so you have to mark off where all the snitches are. Each set has a different stamp, so you can get your stamp taken on this passport. So you can the little kids can have a little fun too, making sure that they see everything.
What's the ticket situation? Because I feel like all the tickets sold out. Or were they just the pre-order tickets, or what's this?
Yeah, it's pre-order only, and they're booked until next year.
What? You mean I can't go until next year?
You can't go. Well, maybe you can.
I was going to say, so you're saying it's now, we said it's now open to the public. I was going to say, wouldn't it be smart to, like, only ever pre-order, like, half the available tickets, so that locals and people who are just on vacation have at least some hope of.
You know what? Yeah, maybe they have that. I don't know, but from what I understood,
there are dates.
The show's
there are
sold
dates
out.
Open. There's tons of dates open. I'm looking right now. I think maybe what you heard or mean is that you can book through next year.
Maybe,
because I'm looking right now, and you can click almost all the days. There are some days that are sold out, but not all of them.
Yeah, because I heard, we had posted, I think some of the news sites had posted,
they sold out of the
pre-ordered. We're sold out.
That might have been the difference. Is the pre-orders
There was a certain amount that they opened
up
up at the beginning, and they didn't say the number, and then they closed, and they were like, "Oh my God, we're so popular! Look at us, we sold out." It could have been 5 tickets for all we know.
Well, they're looking for 5,000 to 6,000 people per day
crazy.
to go through this thing.
That's crazy.
Wow, 6,000 people a day?
They're saying up to 6,000. I think their goal number is 5,000, but they can accommodate up to 6,000 per day to go through this thing. That's
a lot of beer.
You think about it, it's like £28 for each ticket, so let's just round it to £30. That's a lot of bread.
Well, and they really need the money.
Yeah, they really.
Well, they do. They spent £100 million just to build this thing. So,
That's peanuts compared to what
that's
Deathly
weird.
Hallows Part 2 made.
Alone, yeah.
Alone,
Yeah,
yeah,
they-
exactly. Never mind throwing the other 7 movies on top of it. And the exhibition and the theme park.
You know, Andrew, you were saying earlier about what were you saying earlier about the studio? If they're going to add other studio movies into it or something like that, I don't see that happening because it is filled up. It's in a way that they don't want to move it. I can't see them ever taking anything down on this. I mean, this thing here's in for the long haul. The studios where they film at are going to be available to rent out to other things like Sherlock Holmes filmed at Leavesden. So other films can be produced.
Right. I don't think they'll ever downscale the Harry Potter part, but I do think they will add other buildings. You know, the R building, like Eric said.
Yeah, the R building might come down eventually. Who knows?
It makes sense. I mean, you know, they want to make this appeal to people to people who aren't big Harry Potter fans too. And I'm sure this tour will be very much very very often visited by film aficionados just because they look of the detail.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If you have any art inspiration at all to do any kind of art in your life, whether it be the painting or the creature effects or the animatronics or filmmaking or whatever, anything like that at all, you want to go to see this tour and just look at how it's done. Even costume design, the costume details that they put into this thing. I mean, you just wouldn't believe the things that you just don't see on the film. For instance, Umbridge's dress. One of the pink dresses has 2 little bows down by her waist, and there's these 2 gold buttons, and you think they're just buttons, and then you look at it a little bit closer and you go, okay, maybe they're cats or something like that. But then you zoom in with a camera and take a shot of it, and then you blow it up on your computer, and it's a tiny skull with diamonds in it. I mean,
So the surprise aspect of it is
it's huge. The hourglasses are the House Point cups that are in the Great Hall, where the counter is for how much beads are in each cylinder. There's runes along the side of it. Now, you never even see the House Point cup. You know, I mean, the house points at all in the movies. You barely notice them, let alone something that has runes on it like that. I mean, so the details are just extraordinary.
Well, very cool. Keith, thanks for sharing all this info with us. I mean, you're certainly welcome to stay on for the rest of the show if you want, or you can leave now. It's up to you.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
I'm good.
So that was the first half of the show. What else is going on in the news, Micah, besides the studio tour?
You touched on it about 40 minutes ago, and that is that Pottermore should be opening up to everybody in the next couple of days. They announced a few weeks ago that they would be officially opening as of April. You know, nothing too bad, I guess, when you consider that they're 6 months late. When they projected opening initially in October of 2011, and it's now April of 2012. So a little bit of a setback for them. I know that they clearly had some things that they were looking to improve. And I think the biggest thing, though, is not even the fact that Pottermore is going to be officially open to everybody. But the bigger news coming before that is that Potter is now available on ebook.
Yes. This has been a long time coming, and I mean, J.K. Rowling has always held out when it comes to ebooks. She and her
likes
publishers.
The smell of paper.
Yeah, she loves the smell of paper and killing trees. And yeah, so it debuted. The books run, I think, from $7.99 to $11.99 to $12.99.
I think it was $9.99. Like the first 3 or $7.99. I thought like the first 3 were $7.99.
You're right.
And then
there's the complete collection for $57.54.
Okay.
And then the audiobook version is $242.94. Which, you know, I have to say, what's the difference really? I mean, a digital book, digital audio. Why so much more? Why is it 4 or 5 times more?
Well, are you taking the time to read it, or are you having somebody read it to you?
So you pay a premium to be read to?
Yeah, Jim Dale's voice is not cheap.
Okay, so
he's got to feed his family.
Yeah, I guess. So there's the Pottermore shop. Now here's the thing that bugs me, and this is another, that Pottermore kind of move. You have to make a new account to buy these books You cannot use your existing Pottermore account. You have to make you have to make an entirely new account. I tested this myself. You can't combine the accounts, which I was just like, oh my goodness, like another oversight.
Well, hang on, because they weren't allowing us to do duplicate accounts. That was like illegal. They were like, if we find you, we'll cut you. About doing new accounts.
Yeah.
On like multiple accounts especially on one email address, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're probably signing up as Andrew Sims, right? Not as
Cat Seeker,
Shadow Spell 25 or whatever it is.
Right, but you still put in your real name when you register for Pottermore, don't you? So all that information.
I can't remember. It was too long ago.
I'm pretty sure.
So you're saying you have like a Pottermore, you have like a shop username that's not obscured by the
right.
vocabulary?
It's your it's probably your email address. I'm forgetting now, but so they call it a Pottermore shop account. It's not your Pottermore account. Anyway, so these all debuted. They're available for Kindle. They're available for Sony e-readers, of course. Nook, yeah, I think so. I think you can get it on your Nook and your iPad one way or another. I know you can't get the Pottermore books through the Apple iBook store. You have to get it through a Kindle purchase and then use the Kindle app on your iPad to get the books.
Oh, interesting.
Is this because of Sony? That's probably why.
I have no idea.
I would imagine that they might have something to do with that.
I read Apple didn't come to an agreement because actually it's actually rather groundbreaking. Amazon for the first time is sending people to the Pottermore shop to purchase the books. This is the first time ever that you can't purchase a Kindle book on Amazon. You have to go to Pottermore to get the Harry Potter books. So that was a little deal that they worked out. I'm sure Amazon wasn't thrilled, but you can't really argue with J.K. Rowling. You just sort of gotta go with it. And that seems to be why Apple hasn't accepted yet.
But going back to the whole...
Answer this for me, Andrew. I still haven't done it. I went on to Pottermore, and I couldn't find the link to purchase the books. Where do you go for this?
Well, it should
bottom right.
Yeah, if you're not logged in, it says looking for ebooks, available now only at the Pottermore shop. I don't know if they're actually in the site yet, once you log in.
Okay, so it's only on the main homepage before you really sign in.
Well, it would make sense based on what Andrew's saying for it to be available once you log in, because I think the reason why they're doing this is because they don't want information tied to your username. This goes back to the whole issue of having kids and protecting, having kids sign up and protecting their information, and that's why there are these generic names. They don't want like a name, an address, a phone number, a credit card tied to any of the accounts. And that's probably why you have to have two separate ones.
I think if you have to log in and if you had to log in to read the books, that would be crap. I would not agree with that at all. It's like having a digital copy of a movie that you can't edit, because it's just like the user books, if you're buying them, if you pay for them, you should be able to carry them around on whatever device you want,
That's
true.
When
this thing first came out, that's what I thought the whole Pottermore was for, was to read the books online and experience the writings of J.K. Rowling, her little extras as you read the books. That's what I thought the whole thing was about.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought too, yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
So, that's Pottermore ebooks. Anything? I
hear the audiobooks are also coming to vinyl.
Another Pottermore edition was they added sounds to the website.
Ooh. I haven't experienced these yet. Are they everywhere?
They're in places. They're background noises for when you are, in different rooms. So if you're in the potions room, you'll hear like a dungeon-esque sound. Things like that.
What was that sound? It was dungeon-esque.
Yeah. If towards the end of the book, I was playing around with it a little bit ago. If towards the end of the book, you can like hover over flames and get a little crackling sound. Stuff like that. It's nothing groundbreaking. So
if you blow up your cauldron, does it blow up?
I don't know. I haven't done a full run through yet, but the way they talked about it on the Pottermore Insider, it sounded like it was a work in progress. They were going to add more. And they also redid the points. Now I see there's a 13 million number on Pottermore.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that too for my house.
I have no clue what that means. I mean, what does it mean if we have 13 million points? I
as a collective house.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see when this actually opens, because then we'll find out if they actually change the sorting system so you're actually sorted into your real house.
Wait, did we ever get definitive that we weren't?
Didn't they say
like,
that?
it wasn't?
Didn't they say they were changing that or something?
Ooh, I didn't see that. Well, just so that, because we wondered if it was a population control thing, where it was just like X amount of, based on a certain, what's the word, algorithm.
Yes, but we'll see once it opens. I'm actually surprised they didn't start hiding the number of members in the houses yet, because it looks embarrassing to me if you see that all the houses have the same number of people. Clearly, there's some trickery going on here. And so we don't know again when Pottermore is going to actually open up, but we'll find out hopefully. I imagine the next week or two, if they said early April, and the shop's open,
April, right? So
this has to be close.
Yeah.
We have to be close. What else is going on in the news, Mike R?
Well, the next piece of news actually relates to the studio tour. There was a press event that took place prior to its official opening, and Selena, who's actually going to be on our live show at LeakyCon, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, she got the chance to go for Hypable and speak with director David Yates. And one of the things that he spoke to her about was Dumbledore's funeral. I guess they had some concept art laid out from the films, and one of the pictures was of Dumbledore's funeral, and so that's what prompted the question. And his response was that scene was in and out and in and out again. It was a rhythmic thing. It felt weirdly bookended. So you would read the script and you'd get to Dumbledore's death, and it felt climactic and moving. And then we went to the Great Hall, and this austerity sort of felt weirdly complete. And then you got this grand funeral, got to this grand funeral, and it felt less about the man and more about the pomp of the ceremony. And it felt oddly less connected. So just rhythmically, it felt wrong. Like when he's speaking, he's speaking like, so just rhythmically, it felt wrong. But I love that scene.
He's totally passionate about it. He's explaining it.
But I love that scene. It's a beautiful scene in the book, but it felt wrong in the movie.
Translation, it's a pacing thing. Pacing. He's
always said that, though, and it's true. I guess he just felt like there were too many. I think even when he talked about that before, he said that that it just felt like there were too many endings of that book or in that movie or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the pomp of the ceremony, like, what does that mean? Because I think really, like, if you were to get all those great actors onto the set to do that, it would be fine. Like, there really can't be any real reason not to include that in the film, right? Other than...
Yeah, I mean, the only pomp that I can think about is, didn't you have the mer people coming out of the lake and the centaurs coming out of the forest?
But that's about the man. And that's more about Dumbledore than any other part of those books.
And, his tomb bursts into flames, so there is sort of that element to it, but that's also, in a way, related to who he is and his personality. And I think that, I was always disappointed that this was left out of the films because, I don't know, obviously David Yates at the end of the day knows more about making films than I do. So if he says it felt wrong for the movie, I believe him, but
I don't.
I just think having him fall from a tower and then having all the students point their wands into the sky to get rid of the dark mark just didn't cut it. This is one of the biggest deaths in the entire series.
Well, you also have to look at, I think a lot of the problem is they weren't able to flesh out what kind of an impact Dumbledore had on the larger Wizarding World. The larger Wizarding World, the world outside of Hogwarts, doesn't exist in many of the movies. At least until, movie 6 when he dies, is when it becomes important, because you're going to another side of London where Tom Riddle was born. But like Dumbledore doesn't have the same impact. Even the lines like, great man Dumbledore are drastically cut short in the films, and you never get a sense of him being like a greater figure for the rest of the Wizarding World to look up to. In the films, he can serve only as a two-dimensional mentor to Harry, in a way. So having other people show up, even people we've never met, but people that were in the books, to show up and pay tribute to this man, yeah, it would be emotional because, like, look at all these people. But ultimately, it's like, who are these people and why are they here?
Even Umbridge was there.
Yeah, Umbridge was there, but Harry was angry about that, and that plot thread had already been resolved at that point in the movie. I just feel like I understand what David Yates is saying, and I'm okay with it not being in the movie.
Yeah, but keep in mind that the book Dumbledore was loved, and the film Dumbledore, Michael Gambon, was not loved.
At the beginning, at least. I think I liked him more and more as the films...
He was loved in 6 and 7, but not in 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Especially 4.
Yeah.
Maybe just the whole Dumbledore thing in general is awkward for the films, you know? Because they had to replace the actor. And, you know, the different directors chose to portray Dumbledore in different lights. Even Michael Gambon, as you said, Andrew, even by 6 and 7, he became really lovable, but, like, throughout... the transition was always a little more rocky with that character.
Hey, by the way, while we're in between news stories, I went to the Wizarding World and last week, and I finally went on Dueling Dragons. Man, that's intense. Quick, thank God, but intense.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not a big coaster guy. That's some ride.
Did you go on all the others? Have you
gone on Flight of the Hippogriff?
Yeah, I went on. No. I think I'm done with Flight of the Hippogriff.
You kidding? I can ride that like.
Well, it's fun,
times,
but it's like 2 seconds. It's for kids. It's it's cool. But yeah, I went on Dragon Challenge. It was neat.
What dragon were you?
The red one. We had heard that the red one was the better one. I think.
There's a slightly better view, I think, of the castle. From the one
my eyes were closed the entire time, so it didn't matter. It did not matter. Anyway, what else is going on in the news?
Well, apparently, I don't know if this is an April Fool's joke or not. Harry Potter, the Wizards collection, got a trailer, release date, and feature list.
Why is this a joke? What's so funny about this? Well, the price is the joke.
We had this in our April.
Oh.
Yeah, $350.
$350 from Amazon. We talked about that on the last episode.
That's what the joke is.
Yeah, but since then, there's been some features announced. And actually, the most interesting part about this is that they're going to be premiering some of these features on HarryPotter.com.
Of course they are. And
you're going to be able to watch some of these. So you're going to be able to get some of these without buying the $350 set. And we're also finally getting the final 2 parts of the Harry Potter documentary, which apparently were only to be available in the Ultimate Editions, but now it's almost starting to look like they are not releasing the 7th and 8th ones in Ultimate Editions.
What a fail.
That's frustrating because I have the other 6.
Yeah, me too.
And so you know, I want to have the complete set of the Ultimate Editions, and now I'm not going to be able to get that without buying this
let's hope that they...
I think that's going to frustrate
fans. Let's hope that they do actually release the Ultimate Editions. Maybe they're just going to wait until after the Wizards collection is out.
They just need to stop releasing stuff. They just need to stop. They need to say, it's all out there, you know.
Well, it's not right now. They took it all away.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Part 7 is going to be with Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's the Creating the World of Harry Potter Part 7, the story, and then Part 8, called Growing Up, will be with Part 2.
Like a retrospective.
Actually, very interestingly, there's a list of some of the features, over 4 hours of features, including an extended conversation with J.K. Rowling and Dan Radcliffe with 15 minutes of new footage. So let's hope there's some good stuff in there. I mean, a lot of good stuff came out of that.
So good that they cut it from the actual
maybe, well, they were probably saving it for the Ultimate Edition.
Are they that desperate that they're having special features of the special features or extended editions of the special features?
And were there any outtakes listed?
I just want one disc that has bloopers. That's what I want. Yeah. I want the outtakes and I want the bloopers on one disc.
Was there a bloopers thing listed in the feature list?
No, but they said additional features will be revealed on HarryPotter.com.
Oh, come on.
You're also going to get exclusive memorabilia, including a map of Hogwarts, concept art prints, catalogs of props and posters, all designed by the graphic designers from the films. And these too will be revealed on HarryPotter.com.
Well, I do remember from our conversation with David Yates that he did say the bloopers would be available in the future.
Well, he said that they exist, so I'm wondering why we haven't seen them. You know?
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
It actually says one new feature will be revealed each week between now and September, but nothing. I was
going to say September 9th is when it's coming out. The fact that it's available for pre-order now is fun. I wonder how many people
It's so you can save up and start making down
Right.
payments.
If you save how many? Okay.
Let's see how many. Okay,
How many
September
weeks? It's like
5 months,
May, June,
20
July.
weeks. Yeah.
It's 5 months times 5. So if you 350
$15
divided by 5 or $15 bucks.
Well, what is it? It's
350 divided by 25ish weeks. So yeah, put $15 in your
$15
in your Hogwarts piggy bank every week between now and September, and you will have enough to get the Amazon discounted version.
which you most likely already own most of, 95% of it, and then you'll be able to see the rest on HarryPotter.com.
Right.
Can we hope for review copies?
I was just going to ask that.
Start begging now.
Start a Harry Potter website and ask for a review copy from Warner Brothers.
HarryPotter.com has been updated. The entire site has been replaced by a promotion for the Wizards collection. So, and you can use wand gestures to open the box on the site. Don't even ask me. It's just as annoying. The gestures are as Pottermore.
Or do you have to click on it?
No, you have to make wand movements, and I'm trying to do one right.
It's just like the Harry Potter spells thing. You have to do lightning bolt to do something and all that stuff.
And once again, I'm trying to do a very simple wand gesture right now, and it won't do it. Like, what?
Start jabbing it at the...
I honestly,
jab
like, this
on
is
a
the
mouse?
worst.
You're not a wizard,
Wand
Andrew.
gestures should never have existed in video games, on websites, anything. It's bad. It does not work. What else is going on in the... Well, that's it for news, but there's other news to talk about.
So... Is that my new nickname?
Yes.
Okay. As many people know, April Fool's Day was on Sunday this past week, and MuggleNet for a long time has been notorious for pulling April Fool's pranks, and I think personally the best one a couple years ago was Emerson coming up with the idea that MuggleNet was being shut down by Warner Brothers. To me, that still stands out as the best one, and I don't know that anybody could ever really top it. But we did come up with an idea for J.K. Rowling's new book, and to release the title on Sunday morning. And now, not everybody bought into it, which was to be expected, but
I received a text at 15 minutes prior to me waking up, normally, saying J.K. Rowling has announced the title of the book, but
okay,
I'm not.
So we got somebody. We got one person.
Well, hold on, and they said, but I'm not around to post it because they wanted me to post it on Hypable, and I jumped out of bed and loaded up the computer and started looking, and I didn't even see the prank at this time. I just did a quick look on Twitter, didn't see anything. I was like, wow. This is, and then I thought the person who texted me was pranking me, like that was their prank to me. So I sent them a very rude text back and then went back to sleep. Anyway.
But, so what we did was we came up with this title that was an anagram for April Fool's Day. It was called Lairs of Lady Poe. It was just, it was something along the lines of possibly what a mystery novel could sound like, because that's been the speculation of what she was been working on. And so Eric created this great image, which I didn't know until I spoke to him yesterday. It's a real typewriter. That typewriter actually exists in his house. He took actual parchment, put it in the typewriter with the title, Lairs of Lady Poe by J.K. Rowling, and sprayed it with fake blood and took a picture of it. And that's the actual picture that was used. And the whole point of this, point I'm getting to, was really cool, was that it was picked up by Entertainment Weekly. Yesterday, they released a blog post about it, saying that the merry pranksters at MuggleNet were at it again. So, look, we do this every year. I know people who go to our site on a regular basis know it. I just don't like the people out there who can't have a good laugh, who think the joke is stupid, or, take a chill pill.
They just want to act all smart, being like, oh, I knew this was fake. Nice try, guys.
Well, the most interesting thing about Entertainment Weekly picking it up is that they said that they contacted Little Brown about the title reveal. They said they went to them to confirm it, to confirm that this was the title, and that Little Brown didn't deny it, but that they said they had no further information to reveal regarding that hadn't already been said about J.K. Rowling's project.
The publicist was probably thrown through a loop. I mean, it was a Sunday,
no less.
Yeah,
on a Sunday. But the funniest, it was funny to us that obviously we had a lot of people who didn't like it, who were very vocal about it. Oh, this is dumb. But then other people were like, "This is really cool," and then some people were really, taken by it. Sorry, but that we could get a response out of Little Brown through all of this, web talk and noise was just really funny. I think that was when Micah knew that his work was worth it, because I remember the day before April Fool's Day, so it was like the last day, we're still trying to find a title that works, because we had one. Micah really liked the word lair. He was like, it needs to say lair, no matter what. So we're looking on this huge list of anagrams of April Fool, April Fool's Day, April Fools, all this stuff, looking at these different anagrams to use for the title of this book. And it was just a kind of a fun time, and executed, and that was our April Fool's joke. So I was really happy that at the very least it got as far as Entertainment Weekly, and it even got as far as to Little Brown. But it was relevant, because we don't know the title of J.K.'s book yet.
Yeah. Well, I think and what.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm sorry, Mike. I even knew that we were doing this. But at the same time, Micah sends me over a text saying, okay, well, Eric's doing the cover for Layers of Lady Poe. And I'm like, what's that? Is that some kind of kung fu movie that's coming out or something? So, I mean, even though I knew this thing was going on, I had no idea that we came up with a title. And it was so perfect. Yeah.
It was enigmatic, but I do want to say the credit for the image goes to my my roommate, Skylar, who has a working old typewriter. And Micah for coming. He basically told me what to do, and I did it. So he's like, how that, like an old typewriter look? And I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to do it. So we did it. So that was cool. Just kind of cool to get as far as Little Brown. That was kind of cool. It was a fan moment.
Very good. Well, nice job, guys. I can't wait to see what's in store next year. The sequel title.
Next year, LeakyCon is going to the moon, from what I hear.
Well, yeah, speaking of LeakyCon, we haven't mentioned this yet, even though we've mentioned it on the Twitter and the Facebook and all those places. This summer, MuggleCast is going to be at LeakyCon 2012 and Ascendio 2012. Ascendio is run by HPF. They've put on Prophecy, Infinitus, all those. That Ascendio is from July 12th to the 15th at Lowe's, Portofino Bay. That is a Universal Orlando property, so there's going to be a party at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park. And then there's going to be LeakyCon just a few weeks later, August 9th to the 12th at the Hilton Chicago. So 2 different places in the country, Harry Potter conferences will be happening. I think us 4 will all be at LeakyCon. Ascendio, Keith, are you going to Ascendio?
Yeah, well, I'm in the fashion show, so I hope to be there.
Keith, Micah, and Eric will be at Ascendio. I will be at Comic-Con then, not Ascendio.
Same weekend.
But all of us will be at LeakyCon. So keep a heads up on those. I think there's going to be a MuggleCast at both of them. Definitely at LeakyCon. We haven't nailed down the Ascendio plans just yet.
Yeah, if we do Ascendio, we'll have to have you on, through the web. We'll have to find you at Comic-Con when you're not doing
Skype
something.
me in.
Yes, we will
via
Skype you.
Skype video.
Because
Yes.
you need to be a part of it, because you've been at all the other HPF cons, and it's a shame you're missing this one.
Yeah, I know. But I can't resist Comic-Con. I can't do two Harry Potter cons this summer. It's too much. I can't handle so much fun. And too much, all that butterbeer. I just can't do it. So any programming events we can promote? I guess that answers that question.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that also, and I'm in, there's a musical going to happen at Ascendio called Mischief Managed, and I'm playing James Potter.
Very cool.
It's a story of the Marauders.
Very cool.
So it's going to be cool.
So we just wanted to tell you what our presence is going to be in the summer at the Harry Potter cons. Every year we are participating in at least one con. So that's what's coming up this summer for MuggleCast. To wrap up the show, we are going to talk a little bit about Pottermore, the new content from J.K. Rowling, because it is opening, so we are going to start talking about it. If you don't want to hear any of the spoilers concerning the new content that's on Pottermore, don't proceed any further. But we're not going to get into too many spoilers. These are pretty general things, but they are new, written by J.K. Rowling specifically for Pottermore. I don't think we should go through all these just because we're already at an hour 10.
Timing issues. What should we pick one? Let's do wands then, because it's like the biggest, like
Wands?
the 3 segment.
Okay. So yeah, one of the biggest additions in Pottermore, one of the biggest new pieces of information in Pottermore are the wands, and you get to read all about every single wand type in chapter 5. This is the chapter where Bruce goes to, did I just say Bruce?
Bruce and Bruce.
I was reading a Bruce
Mr.
Springsteen tweet, where Harry goes to Ollivander and, learns about the wands, and he gets his wands. So, J.K. Rowling has a good 30 wands listed here. Did any of these stand out to you guys? Did you guys read all this information?
I did. And the thing is, the good thing about Pottermore is you can always go back to it, which is really cool. Because there's, she said in interviews that she came up with and did a lot of research about different trees and different types of wood, and like based on the characteristics of the tree, if it's like, grows only at night, she inferred those characteristics and put them into what maybe the wand would do that had that type of wood. So, whereas the wand cores are like all magical things, so she can make it up completely. The woods actually are different types of woods, and so using her research, which until now had been kept from us, she would assign those types of wands to characters. So you can go back and basically when you're reading the books now, you can see, it'll say somebody has a certain type of wand. Well, you can go look at, that wood and look it up in Pottermore, and there's like at least one paragraph saying a ton about where the wood comes from and what its characteristics are. So I just thought this was really cool, really handy, and a lot closer to the encyclopedia side of things than the interactive flash animation side of things for Pottermore. So that's why I really liked it. Plus,
his first name is Garrick?
A wand. Yeah, Garrick Ollivander.
And that was new. That was new information.
Yeah, that was new. The whole wand section, everything from Joe, is said to be taken from the notes of Garrick Ollivander. So that's cool. She's writing it as if he's in the first person. So that's really cool.
So are we going to go around the table then and say for Pottermore what type of wand we got?
Yes. Yes, the wand chooses you, Mr. Potter. I just looked at all this wand information. I was just thinking, how does Joe come up with this stuff? It's really incredible. I mean, there's so much here.
To show that she did so much research.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
So mine is a 12.5-inch dragon core fur wand that is reasonably supple.
Fur? How is that?
That's the wood.
That's the wood is dragon fur?
Fur.
No,
just
sorry.
FIR, fur.
Oh, fur. Okay. That wood, I'm going to read the description here. Actually, the survivor's wand.
It produces wands that demand staying power and strength of purpose in their true owners, and that they are poor tools in the hands of the changeable and indecisive. Yes, this is perfect for me. I agree.
Fur wands are good at transfiguration and favor owners of focused, strong-minded, and intimidating demeanor. Look at that. I'm going to double check what mine is. To
see yours, you click your user profile name at the top.
Right. Got it. Mine is made of hornbeam. It's 10 3/4 inches with phoenix feather core. Hornbeam. I recall really liking the description of this wood here. Ollivander's own wand is made of hornbeam. It is with all due modesty that I state that Hornbeam selects for its life mate the talented witcher wizard with a single pure passion, which some might call obsession, though I prefer the term vision. So that was funny. Hornbeam wands are adaptable, and they absorb their owner's code of honor, whatever that might be, and they will refuse to perform acts that don't align with that. So that's weird. But I thought it was cool, because it's like he's talking about wand woods, or even wands being sentient. which is Ollivander's whole shtick, but that's, given some more weight in these wand descriptions. Micah, what's yours?
Mine is Vine, 10 3/4 inch. Core is unicorn, and flexibility hard.
So is that not flexible then? Is that?
I guess not. It's not reasonably supple.
Are you flexible, Micah? IRL in real life? Like, can you do
look,
like
this is the wrong podcast for that conversation.
So
I just want to know if like you can like do somersaults.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Can you touch your toes without bending your knees?
No.
Not even sure I can do that.
Can you lick your elbow?
Probably not.
Oh, nobody can do that. That's okay.
Vine wands from the page are among the less common types, and I have been intrigued to note that their owners are nearly always those witches or wizards who seek a greater purpose, who have a vision beyond the ordinary, and who frequently astound those who think they know them best. Micah, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you how much you astound me often.
And finally,
Well,
Keith,
you.
what is yours?
Well, I have an extremely long one. I'm like the longest one besides Hagrid.
Oh,
I think.
come on. We're talking about your Pottermore wand.
I am too. 14.5 inches long. 14.5 inches long
Wow.
of fur with a unicorn.
Jesus, that's a freaking that's
Really
a
are,
ruler, man.
Mikey.
That's a yardstick, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my goodness! Oh no!
It matches.
What's it made out of?
Go ahead. So what type? So Eric can look
it's
it up.
fir wood with a unicorn core, and it's quite bendy.
Huh. 14 inches in bendy. Well, fur is the same as Andrew's. So, again, very resilient people who can be intimidating.
Interesting.
Well, I think the fact that it's 14 3/4 inches is pretty intimidating. So, that's pretty crazy. But, the other thing is J.K. Rowling wrote about the cores and the length versus flexibility and what that says about a wizard as well. So there's 3 different items of wands. Of course, you get your own wand in Pottermore. And I think overall it's one of the really standout parts of the first book.
I agree.
In Pottermore.
I agree. And this kind of information, this level of detail, this is something that I'm hoping to get out of the other books in the future when we learn about other aspects of the Harry Potter books. So it's going to be interesting to see what else is to come. And hopefully everybody who gets into Pottermore, when it does open to the public, gets a wand that they are happy with. A long one. Reasonably supple.
I can't wait to learn about Dawlish.
Yeah. And I want more on the house elves. I mean, there's so much information Joe could write about.
Are they
Book
flexible?
1 is just the book 1 is really just the beginning, Not to say that, but of course it's obvious, but still there's a lot that happens in the later books that she could definitely write much more in depth about. But I think the fact that we're getting all the wand lore and stuff here is relevant and important and appropriate.
Definitely. Well, we asked people who follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/MuggleCast, to tell us what their favorite part of Pottermore is. And you know what? We actually didn't get many responses, which is odd, which I guess tells us that nobody is really in Pottermore yet. Well, that makes it easy, though. So, let's see. We'll go through a couple here. This is so weird. Only like a couple people submitted. That's very odd. Photogirl44 says, I love all the new info on McGonagall. Her story is so amazing. I can't wait to get more info on adult characters. I agree, and we'll talk about all the new McGonagall info on a future episode. Kristen Burford said, the writer doesn't seem to understand the difference between... never mind. That's something else. Zermina K says, my favorite JKR new content has to be about how the Dursleys got together. Both humorous and cool to hear how James insulted Vernon. And that, too, we'll talk about on a future episode. And then finally, Skintish says, I think the little notes on Fantastic Beasts by the trio are really cool. Also, keep thinking what's her new book. Wow, great English here. Didn't she say I'm writing a political fairy tale? And one more. Severus Snapus says, the backstory on McGonagall and what the different wands mean. I'd like backstory on Pettigrew, though. So let's talk about McGonagall on the next episode. By then, hopefully everybody will actually be in Pottermore. Then we could talk about it together and all that. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to remind everybody about our website, MuggleCast.com. Has all the information you need about this podcast that we do each and every month. On the right side, you can find links to our iTunes, which lets you subscribe and review us. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/MuggleCast. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/MuggleCast, and our fan Tumblr, which is mugglecast.tumblr.com. And also on the MuggleCast website, you can find transcripts about all the hosts, and oh, so much more.
Transcripts about all the hosts. You mean bios? Or transcripts of each episode?
Transcripts about each episode, and I thought I also said and the About Us page.
Can you find out more about Bruce?
No, I don't think so.
No new info about Bruce is available there. That's coming soon, though. Don't you worry, Eric.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. From Hypable.com, I'm Andrew Sims.
From MuggleNet.com, I'm Eric Skull.
From MuggleNet.com, I'm Mike Atanabel.
And from MuggleNet.com, I'm Keith Hawk. Or Michael. Depends on which one you're looking to.
Mikey.
Mikey.
Never Michael.
Yeah, don't call him that. He
Michael?
wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he would like that.
Not
All right, we'll see everybody next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.